Breaking today, Netflix has finally had enough. After getting their pound of flesh from Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, including this mortifying public display of affection in the final trailer for With Love Meghan, the holiday special, which, by the way, does the dirty on Prince Harry. Have you ever seen his hairline looking so terrible? But that aside, it's all over. It is all over. Regardless of the first look deal, we're going to get reaction from royal YouTube sensation according to Taz in just one moment. But first, here is the reporting from Shooter Scoop and Rob Shooter on this. He writes, Netflix axes Meghan. Netflix is slipping a Christmas bow on Meghan Markle's glossy lifestyle series, but insiders whisper to Shooter Scoop that the festive wrapping is really hiding a goodbye note. Behind the soft-focused lighting and gingerbread season marketing, the streamer has already decided the upcoming Christmas special will be the final installment of With Love Meghan. One executive literally called it the farewell disguised as a holiday treat, a top Hollywood insider tells Shooter Scoop. Everyone is smiling on the outside, but inside they know this is the end. The quiet cancellation comes as Netflix prepares to sunset the Sussexes' once massive mega deal, the multi-million-dollar contract that helped launch their Hollywood era. With that deal expiring in September 2025, and Netflix has zero intention of renewing, the couple will shift into far smaller, far weaker first look arrangements. It's not just a downgrade, a senior streamer source insists. It's the end of the automatic green light era. Meghan may still have projects bubbling, documentaries, book adaptations, concept pitches, but With Love Meghan has already been treated like yesterday's tinsel. Inside Netflix, they're calling the Christmas special the closing credits. Another insider says, season 3, don't even dream about it. So Tash, this is quite disastrous news.
It is for them.
I mean, good news for us, I guess.
It's not unexpected, is it? I mean, it was a flop. It was a flop. It was boring. It was awful. I watched the trailer, and it's the exact same boring recipe. You know, it's a lot of Meghan. She's got a couple of friends briefly featuring, but a lot of it is just awkward laughter and Meghan crafting with people, complete strangers. I mean, nothing says Christmas festivities like a room full of strange people. I mean, even she went out Christmas tree shopping. Obviously, it's just for the show, but without the children. Again, it doesn't really make you feel warm and fuzzy and Christmassy. With Meghan, just oh, I don't know. The show was just a complete and utter disaster from start to finish. I'm glad to see the end of it, in all honesty, but I can't imagine that Meghan is going to be bringing much festive cheer to the table.
And what about the kiss, Tash? I mean, a lot of views on this. The Royal Grift posted the blood royal can no longer hold back, looking disgusted and repulsed. Meghan's mole wrote, tell me you don't love your husband without telling me you don't love him. And I just thought they did the dirty on him here. Like, you know how sensitive he is about his hairline, and it has never looked so appalling.
He does look rough there. He does absolutely look rough. I thought that he looked like he'd been dragged through a hedge backwards. Obviously, Meghan has allowed him to wear not a grey polo neck. He's now been upgraded to her colour sort of style brown shirt, but he looks more interested in what he was eating. Meghan has put her arm around him to pull him in for that kiss to make sure that he doesn't back out of it. She doesn't look that impressed to be kissing him, to be fair. If you look at her jaw muscles, she looks like she's flinching as she kisses him. It's all performative. It's all for the cameras. No wonder Harry's probably a little bit stiff. I mean, he was just trying to just eat his bowl of cereal, and they thought that's a good thing to add in there. Let's film the man why he's eating, probably got a case of the munchies. And Meghan's like, oh, I'll make this about me. Harry, show the world you love me. And he's just like, I just want to eat my food.
And Netflix gets what they wanted, which is Harry in their trailer,
Exactly.
for the Christmas special.
Try and give it a boost.
Yes, it's awful. We know, though, Tash, what Meghan actually intends to do, and I've certainly been reporting on this for a long time. is exploit the children. You know, that is absolutely phase 2 of this plan. And immediately following the Netflix act scene, Shooter Scoop goes into detail in terms of what that's going to look like. And he reveals that she is plotting, and my God, I cringe at this, but you just know it's inevitable, a mommy empire. Let me take you through the reporting, Tash. Meghan Markle is preparing a major pivot into the booming world of parenting and lifestyle branding. Elaine insiders believe she could dominate immediately. Sources familiar with the chatter tell Shooter Scoop that Meghan's recent holiday special, curated family content, and crafty, homey social moments are breadcrumbs pointing towards a modern motherhood empire. One entertainment insider tells Shooter Scoop that Meghan has been quietly exploring ideas ranging from children's lifestyle items to family-friendly programming to a digital creative hub. Her appearances featuring Archie and Lilibet, shielded but symbolically present, have only intensified speculation. She's leaning into warm, seasonal, mom-centered energy, another source tells Shooter Scoop. It feels like a soft launch of a bigger branding play. Executives watching the trend tell Shooter Scoop they sense a hybrid coming, part lifestyle platform, part parenting guide, part high-end wellness experience. Others believe she's evolving her long-term creative strategy to include family-focused storytelling. But isn't the fundamental problem here, Tash, that she can plan all of this as much as she wants? She can keep trying to exploit the children as much as she wants. But no one buys into the idea of mommy Meghan because we know that she doesn't really give a damn about those children day to day, as the recent Harper's Bazaar interview just proved, where she's talking about the big boast that she can, drag poor Lily into her office and sit her on her knee briefly during a business meeting. I mean, that's not the type of mum that you aspire to be, is it?
That's a case of quickly get her in for a quick photo call and then chuck them back to the nannies.
Yeah.
That the insiders saying that Meghan will dominate that arena. Please, the only thing that Meghan will dominate is her staff and her husband, who is just a shell of his former self. They leave their children all the time in situations that they don't need to. They've got nannies that when they go away, they could take the children with them. The children could be put to bed in the hotel with the nannies. And then Harry and Meghan get to kiss them goodnight. Just normal parenting. Sometimes parents have to go away for businesses. And sometimes, they are in a situation where they take the children with them. They take the nanny with them if they're lucky enough to afford a nanny. Or you take a friend or a family member with you. So the children are still with you all the time and you can dip in and dip out around work. This is how normal people have to deal with having a job and having children. You find ways to make it work. They ditch them week after week. Meghan has no problems. I think Archie was a baby. She left him for like 2 weeks. They leave them all the time. And it's clearly obvious that Meghan doesn't know who's looking after her children, because I remember on Drew Barrymore, she said that I like to record, books rather than just FaceTime her children. I like to do recordings. And then who's ever with the children? Oh, when they're with Harry, she doesn't know who's with the kids half the time. She's completely disassociated to those children. So I don't think anybody's going to be looking for parenting tips from those two. And let's not forget, seeing as we're on the festive trend at the moment, she kind of was happy about the fact that Archie didn't believe in Santa at the age of 4. I mean, she is, yes, no, I can't imagine many people will look to parenting tips any more than what they will looking for tips on how to host friends and family over the festive season.
I know, but Tash, it's unfortunately what they have to do now, which is pretend to be experts in areas that they know nothing about in order to get the moolah. And sort of a little bit missing this week, although I have talked about it a couple of times, is this horrendous announcement in regards to Harry speaking to a Canadian housing association on the 1st of December. It's another pay-to-play deal. And his friends in the United Kingdom are looking at this and just thinking, oh man, what are you doing? Richard Eden's reported on it in the Daily Mail. Let me just take you through this, Tash. Ouch, ahead of Harry's bizarre lecture to estate agents, school friends, very cutting comment to me about Prince as royal sources spill the moment that says it all. So let me take you through this. His fear of public speaking hasn't stopped him accepting an invitation to give a keynote speech at Powerhouse, A conference for 450 estate agents in Toronto, Canada next month. The organisers say of the conference, this is your chance to hear from influential leaders, political pundits, and powerful insiders on all things real estate policy, housing supply, and the Canadian economy. Members of the Ontario Real Estate Association will have to cough up £163 for the privilege, while non-members will have to pay an even steeper £272. It's not clear how much of this revenue will go on settling Harry's appearance fee. News of the Duke's appearance, which I reported yesterday in the Daily Mail, has amused his old schoolmates at Eton College, where he was not known for his incisive contributions. I'm not sure how much I would pay to hear Harry hold forth on housing supply in Canada, laughed one old Etonian when he learned of the Duke's speech. Delegates at the Canadian conference have been advised that King Charles's younger son will bring a powerful message of service and leadership to the powerhouse stage. The description led one royal source to tell me rather pointedly, Harry and Meghan gave up their message of service and leadership when they left Britain and their royal duties behind. Presumably, they will now give speeches to whoever pays them. As he addresses a room full of real estate agents, Harry could well ponder over the very different audiences he might be standing in front of had he and Meghan chosen to remain as working royals. After all, his brother William gave a powerful speech about the environment to dozens of world leaders, including the Prime Minister, Sir Keir Starmer, at the COP30 Climate Change Summit in Brazil earlier this month. And Tash, I genuinely do believe that this new booking marks a low, and it shows you how desperate they're becoming financially. Because you remember when Harry first went on these public speaking websites, the sort of understanding was, yes, it's going to be pay to play, but he's going to do the sort of events where you could argue it's sort of part of his philanthropy and part of his brand. I'm sorry, Tash, that's simply not the case anymore. He will speak to anyone who is desperate enough to pay him. Because the fact that, and look, I'm not doing down estate agents, but come on, 350 Canadian estate agents, this is mortifying. You know, this is utterly embarrassing and mortifying, but he needs the money. So he is now a pay-to-play prince, a prince for sale, and we saw where that led Andrew Mountbatten.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it looks like that they are scraping the bottom of the barrel. Harry's taken absolutely anything. We've seen Harry talk to bankers. I mean, that was one of the big ones when they first went when they left the royal family. Harry went into a room full of banking investors. They've done business investment speeches. Harry knows anything to do with banking or business investments, and now real estate. Canada's in one hell of a housing crisis. I've got friends that live out there. I mean, it's pretty dire straits unless you have a lot of money out there. How and who on earth is going to listen to Harry talk about that? This is one of the most privileged men in the entire world that grew up with palaces and castles. He's never had to have a job. When he did leave the royal family, he had millions in the bank account. And I think it's clearly obvious that Meghan has, worked her way through a fair old chunk of that. Hence why he's taking these speaking gigs. But who on earth is going to want to listen to Prince Harry? All he does when he does these speeches is talks about mental health. He might bring up his mother. He brings up my wife. He doesn't have the education. No wonder his old Etonian chums were taking the mickey out of him. This is a man that got a teacher to cheat on his art exam. He left Eton with 2 A levels, Dan, just 2. And for Eton, that's incredibly low. I'd imagine practically unheard of. And one of them, as I said, he got the teacher to help him cheat. This man doesn't have an education to talk about anything like this, an understanding of it. Why on earth would anybody want him there? Apart from it's to get estate agents to perhaps pay the money to go see it. But £163 a ticket. I mean, yeah, it's just embarrassing. What's he going to be speaking at next? Like a hairdressing conference? I mean, ah,
Well, let's be
a
honest.
toupee.
There's not much work they can do with that at the moment.
A toupee one.
Yeah, but we see the desperation though seeping into a whole load of their moves, because also this week in Meghan's Thanksgiving announcement for Was Never, we noted that she put Archie and Lily right there. So, in order to sell sage honey, Tash, she's now telling stories about her children.
Yeah, they're gonna love sitting at that table, children at that age. Yeah, be really exciting for them.
It just shows you, doesn't it, though, quite what
Yeah.
a downfall 5 years in we are looking
Of
at.
course. And this is exactly why they claimed the prince and princess titles after all of the hoo-ha they caused on Oprah saying that Archie wasn't going to be given a title at all, which we know was a lie to make it more dramatic and they were victims and racism was involved. And they just needed to wait until Charles became king. But the fact is that they did even say that they didn't want their children to have titles. It's something that their mouthpiece, Omid Scobie, reiterated, saying, no, 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 they don't want to do that. They want their children to have a normal upbringing. And then at the first grab that they could, they were like, no, we want our children to be prince and princesses. This is a couple that preach about um I suppose like some of it is equality and equity in workplaces, and then they want their children to have this element of prestige, which raises them on a different level above, all the other kids in school because they're a prince and a princess in a country that fought a war to abolish their links to the monarchy. It's obvious that Meghan has chosen the children to be prince and princess for this very reason, and it all comes down to marketability. She needs to cash in on those children because she and Harry are no longer making the money. So I do believe, Shutter Scoop, that she is going to do something like that. And I don't think Harry's got the balls to stop her. So yeah, it's just they lurch from one disaster to the next, and everybody said that she would wait till the children are that little bit older, which they are now. We saw them at Disneyland, didn't we? Or Disney World. They got a freebie for Lily's birthday. It's all about now trying to present the children to the world to earn money off of them. And it's, yeah, again, parenting tips. That's mother of the year right there. It's the same as them giving speeches about not wanting children on social media as she posts her children on social media weekly.
By contrast, we saw a very different relaunch this week from Catherine, the Princess of Wales, who has not really been able to do her public speaking, of course, over the period where she was battling cancer and undergoing treatment for her cancer. But according to Tom Sykes in The Royalist, we just got a tantalizing glimpse of Queen Catherine. The Princess of Wales' confidence suggested to me that she knows exactly what moment she is stepping into. And it was specifically in regards to this part of her speech. Tash, watch this.
Love is the first and most essential bond. Imagine a world where each of these environments were built on valuing time and tenderness just as much as productivity and success.
I mean, this was amazing, Tash, because there she is at the Future Workforce Summit, but really effectively pushing her message. And I think this is interesting. Diana wanted to be the queen of people's hearts. I think Catherine wants to be the queen of love because she's making the point that actually the most important thing today is spending time with your family.
Yes, I mean, she's using her platform in such a positive way. She's talking to these huge, I mean, these organizations that were there have got a mass number of employees working under them. And she's using her platform to say, you need to look after your employees. You need to look after the parents and the carers of children. You need to make sure that if you want your company to be full of productivity, you've got to make sure that parents aren't near enough having a nervous breakdown because they've got a sick child at home or they've got a child with a broken leg. And I love the fact that she is using her position to give a voice to women in the workforce as well. It isn't just about, where she gives us, talks to do with the early childhood. It's not just about the children. It's to do with also keeping the struggles of parenting to a minimal. And as I said, I mean, this is something she's going to be a future queen, and she's trying to make positive, impactful change on society. And I think it's just another wonderful thing that she's involved herself with, really.
Tash, shock new reporting from Andrew Lowney, the author of Entitled, about Fergie, specifically Sarah Ferguson, because you'll know that Andrew's estranged wife has really dined out about her closeness to the late Queen Elizabeth II for some time, the fact that she is looking after uh, what were the Queen's corgis. But his reporting does actually blow that thesis apart if you go with it. So I just want to take you through it and get your reaction. He writes, Fergie pocketed millions selling out the royal family. The Queen called her the Duchess of Deceit and Remorseless. Now, this is on the Lowney Report Substack. According to a top palace source, the Queen referred to Fergie as the Duchess of Deceit after that infamous incident in 2010 when Fergie was at the centre of the Cash for Access scandal, when she was filmed surreptitiously by the News of the World offering to sell an introduction to Prince Andrew for £500,000. Fergie offered Maz Mahmood, an undercover reporter posing as a businessman, access to her ex-husband in exchange for a briefcase containing £40,000 in cash. That opens up everything you would ever wish for, she could be heard saying on the tape. I can open any door you want, and I will for you. Look after me, and he'll look after you. You'll get it back tenfold. The palace source revealed exclusively to the Lowney Report that no one had ever seen the Queen so irate upon learning what transpired. Sarah's misconduct left everlasting interpersonal consequences between herself and Her Majesty, the source said. The Queen described Sarah as the type of person who was beyond experiencing guilt, shame, or regret for her terrible actions because all she cared about was herself and nobody else. The Queen said Sarah was remorseless. The palace source insisted Fergie's cash for access wasn't an isolated incident. She sold access to the royal family, secrets of the royal family, and often sold secret information to key media outlets to make a quick buck. It was an utter betrayal of the trust placed in her. It was all calculated to prioritize her own personal interests. Sarah was obsessed with creating get-rich-quick schemes. There were constant whispers at the palace about how corrupt Sarah actually was, that she made real criminals look good. So, Tash, this reporting from Andrew Lowney, and I mean, look, you've got to respect his reporting, don't you? Because obviously, Entitled was in many ways the book that did eventually bring down Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. But it's an interesting one because obviously the Queen, after Prince Philip's death, did allow Fergie back into the fold. For example, she did invite her back to the royal Christmas celebrations.
I think with that, back in 2010, I think that there had been a lot of rumors to do with Sarah, obviously, like Andrew reports, behind palace doors, that she was doing a lot of dodgy deals. And I think the Queen probably felt betrayed because she defended her. She fought for Sarah. With her own husband, Prince Philip, who wanted her completely gone. But she allowed Sarah to live with Andrew in Royal Lodge. She was allowed certain perks. She may not have been on the public stage, but Fergie was still very much given perks because she lived with Andrew. And I think the realization that she was doing something as gross and as crass as that, I think it made the Queen realize that all of these other rumors were probably true. And then obviously when Philip passed away, it softened the Queen. We don't know how long that she knew that she had left for this world. She was very much a believer of forgiveness, obviously with her strong Christian faith. And I think that she wanted to right a few things before she left. So she wanted Princesses Eugenie and Beatrice to have their mother at events, and I can understand why she softened towards the end, and especially, as I said, without Prince Philip's influence. But Fergie, it seems, well, it looks like that she used that to her advantage, really. I think quite a few people in that family used the Queen's softness and her willing to forgive to try and manipulate her, as we saw with Harry and Meghan. And Harry, his insistence on trying to have private meetings with the Queen, and luckily, she had enough people around her protecting her. But that's why Harry got the hump. And then he told people, didn't he, on that Invictus interview? And he said that she's got the wrong people around her. It's because nobody would let him within 10 feet of her. And, you can understand why. But Yeah, I'm glad to see that the Queen has, not glad that she's gone, but I'm really glad that she isn't around to see the House of York crumble as it has. And I think there are going to be more things that continue to come out. So, in many ways, I'm glad that she has moved on with Philip onto the afterlife, really. I can't imagine how much this would still be upsetting her.
Very well put from Tash. And of course, you can subscribe to her brilliant YouTube channel for fascinating royal analysis by subscribing to According to Taz on YouTube. But we love having you part of our Outspoken Tash. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful weekend.
The Prince and Princess of Wales attend royal variety performance after the princess's cancer recovery. The Prince and Princess of Wales attended the royal variety performance at the Royal Albert Hall, where they were said to have been delighted to meet Paddington Bear and several performers taking part in the event. According to those present, both Catherine and Prince William appeared excited as they posed beside the marmalade-loving character. They joked that they would need to keep the encounter a secret from their children. Catherine remarked that it was so nice to be back, marking her first appearance at the event since completing treatment for cancer. The princess also met the singer Jessie J, who, like her, has undergone cancer treatment. Jessie J, who is 37 years old, had a mastectomy in June after being diagnosed with breast cancer. The two women spoke briefly about their shared experiences. Witnesses said the royal couple smiled warmly as they stepped out of their car and walked along the red carpet outside the Royal Albert Hall in West London. Catherine wore an emerald green, floor-length velvet gown, while the prince chose a classic black tie suit. Their previous appearance at the show had been in the year 2023, when they attended alongside the Crown Princess and Prince of Sweden. Upon arrival, they were greeted by Colonel Jane Davis, the Vice Lord Lieutenant for Greater London. Catherine repeated that it was wonderful to return after a period away from public duties. The President and the Chief Executive Officer of the Royal Albert Hall, James Max and James Ainscough, were also present to welcome them. Inside the foyer, the couple met Giles Cooper, who is an officer of the Order of the British Empire and chairman of the Royal Variety Charity, as well as several senior representatives from the charity and from ITV, which produces the broadcast. Observers noted that the princess had goosebumps on her bare arms as she spoke with those lined up to meet her. Before taking their seats, the princess received a bouquet of winter woodland-themed flowers created by 9-year-old twins Emily and Olivia Edwards. The flowers were selected to capture what was described as the quiet magic of the season. The twins had been chosen because they have a relative working at nearby Brinsworth House, a residential care home operated by the Royal Variety Charity. Catherine bent down to speak to the girls, telling them the flowers were very sweet. She asked if they were excited to tell their school friends about their evening and whether they were fans of Paddington Bear. When the girls nodded, she laughed and said that her own children would be sad to miss the event, adding that they would have to keep it a secret from them. Prince William joined them and accepted the programmes handed to him by one of the twins. He asked what she was most looking forward to watching during the performance and told the girls that their smiles were infectious. When the prince and princess entered the royal box, the audience rose to their feet while state trumpeters marked their arrival. The national anthem was performed by the Welsh singer Catherine Jenkins. This was the 6th time the couple had attended the royal variety performance. Their children, Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis, did not attend the event. Despite sleet falling in London, many fans gathered outside to cheer for the royal couple as they arrived. Both Catherine and William met several performers and representatives from the Royal Variety Charity shortly after entering the venue. The show featured a star-studded lineup including the comedian Jason Manford, the singer Jessie J, and Queen drummer Roger Taylor. This year's performance was hosted by Jason Manford and included acts across theatre, comedy and music, as well as a special appearance by the cast of Paddington the Musical. Other performances included sets from Jessie J, the Grammy Award-winning singer Laufey, the band Madness, and the actor Sir Stephen Fry. In celebration of the show's 40th anniversary, performers from the West End and Paris productions of Les Miserables took part, including Michael Ball, Matt Lucas, and Killian Donnelly. ITV is scheduled to broadcast the show next month. Jessie J performed her new track, I Will Never Know Why, part of her musical comeback following her diagnosis. The singer, who is returning with her first studio album in 7 years, is expected to release the record next week. The article also noted that in the previous year, King Charles had attended the Royal Variety performance alone because Queen Camilla was unwell. Catherine has a long history of encounters with Paddington Bear, including a widely remembered moment in 2017 when she danced with the character at Paddington Station. She has also met members of the cast and crew from Paddington 2. Queen Elizabeth II famously appeared alongside the bear in a comedy sketch for her Platinum Jubilee. Attendance at this year's performance was confirmed by Kensington Palace the previous day. The Royal Variety charity, which stages the event each year, supports professionals from the entertainment industry. The annual show has been held since the year 1912 and now draws a global audience of more than 152 million people. King Charles III serves as life patron of the charity.